worse than fluoride? This is a mind blower. So we were even taught about fluoride in school, right? You gotta ask yourself, why weren't we taught about deuterium in school? I've never heard of that in my life. So deuterium, okay, so we have water. We consider that hydrogen 1. That has 1 proton and no neutrons. So deuterium is basically water, but they call it hydrogen 2 because it has 1 proton and 1 neutron, while water has 0 neutrons. So a nickname for it is heavy water or heavy hydrogen. Why haven't we learned about this other important aspect of water? Now, what's the big deal about deuterium? We have a doctor that's going to come on in 1 minute and you're going to hear all about it. But basically, long story short, you know how fluoride calcifies your pineal gland and limits your consciousness? This is even worse. This does even worse things to you. You got to think, it's like if they're putting fluoride in the water to really hurt us, why would they have taught us that in school? So you know how they always have the symbolism, the hand in the coat, but they show a hand? So this is the hand that they're hiding. This is what they're actually doing to us. So deuterium limits your lifespan, causes cancer, causes depression, causes anxiety. But on top of that, spiritually, it causes you to not be able to manifest. That's why we can't manifest instantly. I know it would be magic, but we do have those capabilities, and that's exactly why. This is what they don't want you to know. This video is going to blow your mind like it blew my mind. This is crazy. It even limits your ability to use your intuition. That's your gut feeling. This is affecting us at so many levels. So real quick, if anybody knows or has any inventions that they know of on how to remove deuterium from the water, please send me an email at vtvault@protonmail.com. Just know this is absolutely real. It's not on the periodic table of elements because it falls under hydrogen. You have to look on the table of isotopes because it's an isotope under hydrogen. Check that out. And this is real. This does exist. And why didn't we learn about it? This is so important. This is, again, one of the new age things that we've discovered as woke, awake, anons, whatever you want to call us. This is very important. You need to check this out, and you really need to look into this for yourself. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is 100% legit. Do your research and know. So please listen to this doctor. His name's Dr. Jerry Riviera, and he's going to tell you a little bit about deuterium.
Well, I didn't create the research behind it. The Russians did. They've been doing this for, decades. And they figured out that there was a highly toxic substance that is attached to the hydrogen molecule. So when we're drinking, it doesn't matter what type of water it is, whether it's spring water or distilled, reverse osmosis, or, you think you have the best water on the planet. We're not really drinking H2O, it's really HDO. That was another disinformation done on purpose. And HDO, hydrogen, deuterium, oxygen, is a semi-heavy water. Now, deuterium is a isotope of hydrogen, and it is, think of it as twice as heavy. Think of it as your cousin, distant cousin, that is twice as big and heavy as you, okay? Still in your family, but you have a cousin that's just twice the size and twice the weight of you. So it bogs you down. So think of throwing a wrench, the deuterium molecule, into a turbo, a twin turbo Ferrari or a Porsche. That deuterium molecule jams up the ATP synthase nanomotor of the mitochondria so that we're acting or we're functioning at, let's say, 50% capacity at best. When you lower deuterium in your body, you're removing the wrench, you're allowing the turbo to spin at its 9,000 to 12,000 RPM capacity. So then you have more energy, more, let's say, ability to recoup from any type of physical activity. So your recuperation and healing abilities are enhanced. And everything functions in the body at a much higher capacity or percentage. So let's say with consciousness, you'd like to lower deuterium level in your body because it allows your consciousness to oscillate higher. Your physical atoms are a downstep of consciousness. So if your physical body is being jammed up by the deuterium, when you release that, it helps. It's like It's like as above, so below. So we want to, those that are on this path of eternal life potentiality, really reclaiming our ability to not just manifest but materialize things at will, you want to lower deuterium levels in the body, because that is the highest or the most toxic substance that we have. By far outweighs mercury, aluminium, all of those other toxins. Deuterium was put here on purpose, not only to cut our lifespan, because when you remove deuterium, you automatically live a lot longer. Look at the Hunza tribe in Tibet. They're drinking water at, let's say, 120 parts per million, when here in the Western world, all our water is at 155 parts per million. The Siberians in northern Russia, they were drinking from birth to death 126 parts per million or 123 part per million, right? They were living to 125. Average age 125, when we can barely make it out of 80 or 90. So it's very important to lower deuterium levels. Now the question is, how do you lower deuterium levels in the body? Well, you can need sun gaze. There's sun exposure, early morning sun exposure. There's grounding. There is eating a clean ketogenic diet. So all of that absolutely lowers the deuterium levels in the body, and it allows us to create deuterium depleted metabolic water in our body. So this whole misnomer of, oh, you have to drink eight glasses of water a day, who the hell came up with that? You're drinking 8 ounces of poison. And then think about all these guys, these yogis and yoginis that are doing these water fasts. I mean, not only are they poisoning their body because they think that, oh, we're going to go on a water fast, but it just shows me that they really don't understand biochemistry. And it's very simple. Look and see where deuterium lies on the elemental chart, and you'll see it's the first isotope of hydrogen, right? That's the first thing. But you think we as Westerners remember that? No, but it's very important to go back to that. Biochemistry is very important if you are looking to not just expand your life by 5 or 10 years. Let's say, we can easily get to 125 with quality of life. So, yeah.
How is it that on some places on the planet there's less deuterium?
Okay, great question. So deuterium freezes first, 1 degree above, I think 32 degrees. So deuterium gets caught in the ice. So if you're drinking glacial melt water, you're automatically drinking lower deuterium level water. So in Siberia or in Tibet, or let's say even in Canada, okay, or Antarctica, if you're drinking glacial melt water, you're automatically drinking lower deuterium level water. The sea, unfortunately, seawater is at the highest at 155 parts per million. So, if you're a surfer, just think about surfers. Yeah, it's a great lifestyle. It's, you catch their waves. But you take a look at any surfer versus someone that doesn't surf. They're constantly exposed to the ocean water. Constantly, they looked aged way faster than someone that doesn't surf. It's because they're frolicking in high levels of deuterium all their lives, thinking, oh man, surfing is great. It's a great sport or whatever. But you are aging at a much faster rate because you are bathing in high levels of deuterium. Now, I know surfers are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, but you just do your due diligence. You do your research. And then you tell me, would you want to be bathing? I love the ocean. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I'm not going to be in it 12 hours of the day if I know that seawater has 155 parts per million. That's just moronic.
So is there any benefit to deuterium? Could we get it to 0, or is there some function that it has?
Well, there is, of course. I mean, obviously, as an infant, as an embryo, you're going to need certain levels of deuterium, right? It's part of the periodic table of elements. And there's a certain time frame where it is beneficial. However, just like everything else, once you reach a certain age, you want to lower that. You don't want it in your body. And I challenge anyone that's listening to this, do your research. Go take a look at the Russian research and see how there's a correlation of high levels of deuterium to, say, psychosis, to cancer, to bipolar, to depression. They're out there.
The following statement is actually taken from the National Institutes of Health website. It states, upon ingestion of deuterium oxide, 2H, also known as D for deuterium, is incorporated into the deoxyribose moiety of DNA of newly divided cells. Rapidly dividing cells, as in the case of B-cell chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Did you catch that? It propagates leukemia.
So super important, this next doctor I'm going to show you is going to blow your mind, okay? This is Dr. Gabor. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's the CEO of HYD Ltd. He has been researching the effects of using deuterium water that has been reduced to 25 ppms from obviously 130 to 150 ppms, which is here in the US. So apparently using this water, deuterium causes cells to replicate, and when you have less of it, the cells slow down, and it even stops cancer cell growth. And it also reverses cancer cell growth. They've been doing this experiment since the 1990s, and he's written a book called Defeating Cancer, the Biological Effect of Deuterium Depletion. So deuterium basically speeds up cell growth, which makes you age faster, and also allows cancer cells to flourish. And when there's too much cell growth, cell activity going on, it's a breeding ground for cancer and promotes any cancerous materials that get in your body into creating cancer. There's been vets that have been using this for over 5 years and who claim, you'll see in this video coming up in a second, who claim that it works and it actually reverses the tumor cells in dogs. I need to get me some of this shit. And you can purchase it. Only the site that you purchase it from is in Russian, I'm pretty sure, and I can't read how much it is, but it's only for research purposes only. So you can purchase it from other places, but you have to buy 500,000 liters at a time, and it's expensive. So this is really the only way, as they explain, that you can purchase it. Now, I'm doing research on how to create it myself. I don't know how hard it will be. It seems like it's going to be a pretty daunting task. But check this out. You can go to their website, go to vetera, vetera.hu, and that's exactly where you can purchase this stuff. Now, their website is www.hyd.hu. So basically just taking deuterium out of the water, reducing it, literally is a cure for cancer. Therefore, it must be causing the cancer. You see how that works? And they can't claim any crazy or extraordinary claims on their site because they haven't proved it with their research yet. I'm sure when that's done, they're probably going to be killed. Anyways, food for thought. Check this out.
When tackling any form of disease, prevention is as important as the cure. When we look to tackle heart disease, we look at reducing our amount of cholesterol. But when it comes to tackling cancer, this has proved to be a much more difficult task. Today, we're in Budapest, here in Hungary, and we're here to take a closer look at HYD Limited, a company that has reached international recognition amongst the scientific community for their groundbreaking work in both the prevention and treatment of cancer. HYD founder Gabor Chomlier has devoted his adult life to identifying a specific element, deuterium, as key in the treatment of cancer cells.
I identified that the hydrogen and the heavy hydrogen, the deuterium, can together be responsible for the cell multiplication, and I suppose that the lack of deuterium can cause the death of cancerous cells. As a result of the positive research, we established the HYD Ltd to develop deuterium-depleted products for human and veterinary use.
Veterinarians have been using HYD's products to treat cancer for several years, reducing both trauma and cost for their patients.
In our practice, we have found many cases of tumors in dog and cats. Normally we treat them with surgery therapy, and we have also possibility to use radiotherapy and chemotherapy, but these treatments have very dramatic effect on dog and cat, and these are very expensive therapies as well. So we are looking for new possibilities like deuterium depleted water, which brings much more positive effect with or without therapy for a pet, and gives much better quality of life for a pet. We have been using deuterium depleted water in our practice already for 5 years, and we have found a very significant positive result in our dog and cat cancer patient.
But what does deuterium actually do to our bodies, and what proof do we have that its reduction actually reduces the spread of cancer?
This depleted deuterium water is interfering with the compound that is very, very important in the case of the growth of the several tumor cells, for example, the breast cancer or prostatic cancer, the colon cancer cells. And if you can, let's see, decrease or inhibit the activity of the certain enzymes by having no side effect, that I think is the most important thing in a case of curing patients.
Sadly, many of today's current treatments for cancer have severe and often traumatic side effects, and that's where the real breakthrough comes in. Here at HYD, they've not only developed an effective treatment, but also a delivery system that's as simple as applying a cream or even drinking a glass of water.
The treatment is very straightforward. The human body contains 60% water, and the easiest way to reduce the deuterium concentration in the human body if we replace the normal water with deuterium depleted water. So this is the reason we developed deuterium depleted drinking water. To prevent skin cancer, we can replace the normal water with deuterium depleted water in sunscreen products. And that way we can eliminate the potential cancerous cells from the skin, and that can give an additional protection for the skin.
With many preventative consumer products already available on the local market, HYD have also completed successful Phase 2 clinical trials with impressive results.
We have completed the Phase 2 double-blind clinical trial, which showed the efficacy of the anti-cancer drug. We could see that the survival rate was significantly longer in the treated group comparing with the placebo group. We have published several papers, and everybody accepted our results and said that that's something.
So, with successful clinical trials already completed, HYD believe that with the right financial backing and the right partnerships, deuterium depleted water, or DDW, will lead the way to a whole new range of both pharmaceutical and consumer products for the treatment and prevention of cancer.
We are very pleased that we could organize the 4th International Congress on Deuterium Depletion. 4 years has passed since we organized the last one. At that time, we could see just in the last 4 years that the number of papers sharply increased, which are related to deuterium depleted water. It is getting evident for the science that the deuterium depletion has a real role, and the deuterium itself has a key role in the living organism. Of course, the primary focus on a cancer drug development and cancer drug regulation, and everybody, we can say from Shanghai to Los Angeles, can confirm that the lower D concentration can inhibit cell growth, cancer cell growth, and can trigger the necrosis of tumor cells. So we can say that the deuterium hydrogen ratio is a key signal for the cell, whether multiply or not. And because the cancer cells has a damaged mitochondria, the cancer cells very easily can reach the deuterium hydrogen ratio to the threshold, which finally cause that these cells grows without any control, and the patient is getting sick. Our main focus, the first presentation was mainly about the molecular background and the biochemist part of this hydrogen deuterium ratio. The next presentation I will say, this is about the application of deuterium depleted water. We followed over 2,000 cancer patients, and the data, what we can prove and what we already has published, they are real shocking. So one of the final conclusion of my presentation that just in Hungary, if the deuterium depleted water and the deuterium depletion would be a part of the oncotherapy, which is our primary aim, we should reduce the deaths with 25,000 patients per year, which means in Hungary 30,000 patients die every year, and we should reduce it to 7,500 this death rate. This is so big difference comparing to the existing therapy and just following the mortality of the cancer in the last 30, 50 years, that it's obvious we have to move into that direction. The oncology should recognize finally and accept the data what all the scientists worldwide collected and proving the anti-cancer effect of deuterium depletion. We also know that deuterium has a key role only the cancer grows, but in the metabolic disease has a key role, and those information which is coming back from worldwide, we are sometimes very shocking and surprised at what kind of indication the deuterium depleted water showed some impact, some positive impact. So we believe that the idea which I started to prove in 1990 when I worked for the Nature Institute of Oncology, and I started to investigate the possible role of the naturally occurring deuterium is a key mechanism because regulate all the biochemical and genetical processes on a submolecular level, and everything in the living organism will be decided on that level, changing the DH ratio or depleting the DH ratio, and that will govern the molecules, the genes, what to do, and the cells will do everything according to the rule what the DH ratio suggests for the cell. This is what you have to do. We have speakers from 8 different countries and audience from 13 different countries. This is alone, these 2 numbers is a clear evidence that the deuterium depleted water is well known worldwide, and so many people is getting involved. So we can meet people here. They are building a factory to produce deuterium depleted water from China, Germany, Romania, Russia. So it means in the near future, in the foreseeable future, the number of the patient, the number of the companies and scientists will increase, and we will get the critical mass when the world will accept our data and our results.
Do your own research. Check this out for yourself. See what else, see what you can uncover. See if you can figure out how to separate this stuff and make your own and save everyone. That'd be awesome. So last thing, there is a Q Trump phenomenon aspect to this whole thing. If you want to check that out, it's by Good Lion Films and it's called Watch the Water, Trump Q, and Deuterium. You know, that's like I said, like with a lot of the Trump stuff, it turns me on to shit and it allows me to dig further. So think the whole phenomenon. I'll always think the phenomenon, whatever it is, whatever it means. But check out that video. It's a must-see. He always breaks things down so beautifully, and there's an art about it. So please check that out. Thanks for watching. Check out this one last video of how to check your tap water to see what chemicals are in it. Tap water. Do you drink it? I sure as hell don't. Would you like to know what's in your tap water? Real quick video. Go to ewg.org/tapwater. Put in your zip code. And look, here's an example right here. It'll tell you everything that's in your water and everything that shouldn't be there. Everything and what the normal dose of it is and how many times it's over the limit. If you look here, we got, I can't even pronounce this word. It's 77 times over the limit. Then we have chloroform in the water, and it's 104 times the limit. And this is allowed to be put in our drinking water? Quick, go to ewg.org/tapwater and put in your zip code and see for yourself what locally your local tap water has in it. It's real quick to do. You can do it on your cell phone. Do it right now. Don't drink the tap water. Then ask yourself, if this is approved and if this is okay, how the fuck is it okay for us to be putting this in our bodies and they're approving it as our drinking water? This is not okay at all. And if you think that this is shady and this is fucked up, you can even bring this to Cove. Listen, they don't give a fuck about us. The water's fucked up, the food's fucked up, and you wonder why we're sick. Check it out for yourself.